Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Steggy again, back with another Disney Lorcana card of the day. And today's card of the day is going to be Hades, Lord of the Underworld. Now, this Hades costs 4 resources, or ink, and he is not inkable, which means he cannot be placed into your inkwell. He has 3 strength, 2 willpower, and he quests for 1 lore. He has 1 ability, but it's a pretty good ability. It's called Well of Souls. It reads, when you play this character, return a character card from your discard to your hand. And I should also note that he is a rare, like his rarity is rare. So, you know, it's up there. Overall, this is a pretty good card. I actually really like this Hades. His stats aren't the best. A 4 for a 3/2 that quests for 1. You know, in the same color and cost, you could play Ariel. And Ariel is a 4 cost who is inkable, who has 3 strength and 4 willpower, so double, and also quests for 2 lore versus Hades 1. But on the plus side, Hades can sing songs, whereas Ariel can't, but I mean, how often are you going to be doing that type of thing? Regardless, Hades' ability is absolutely fantastic. It is very, very good. Now, before I talk about him, I should also mention that there is a card that has the exact same ability as him as well. It's called Part of Your World. It is also an amber, and it costs 1 less resource, and it also is not inkable. It's a song card, and again, it does the same thing. You're able to return a character from your discard pile to your hand. But for 1 more resource, you're able to get a 3 strength, 2 willpower body on the field that can quest for 1 lore. So it's kind of like Detective Mickey versus One Jump Ahead, where for 1 more resource, you're able to get a body on the field for an effect that another card can do for 1 less resource, if that makes sense, right? And I do like that trade-off. I think being able to play Hades onto the field and get his effect is far better than just playing the action card to get a character back from your discard. Now, getting a character back from your discard is actually really good. That is a fantastic ability. I just like that for 1 more resource, I can have a character on the field that can either challenge or progress me towards my win condition. Now, this Hades is a very solid card because he opens up a lot of combos for you. As a very simple example, if you have 2 copies of Hades, you're able to infinitely recur them, and your opponent's unable to deal with them. And what you would simply do is have 1 Hades in play, and you can either quest with it or gain lore, and if it's ever banished, then you can play your second Hades and get that first Hades back into your hand and just repeat the cycle over again. So yeah, yes, I mean, it would take a turn to get things going because of how the ink needs to dry. But once you're able to get going, you know, it's pretty solid. It's a very fun, simple combo, and it's just one thing that your opponent can't deal with. The downside being is that you're not going to be able to target anything else with your Hades, which can feel kind of bad because you're not really getting your big heavy hitters, you know, back from the discard. So that's something to look out for. Another combo that you can do with this Hades is to combine him with Captain Hook, Captain of the Jolly Roger. So if you're playing a sort of Amber Steel deck, and if you have like Fire the Cannons in your discard pile, you know, you could play your Captain Hook, get your Fire the Cannons back, and be able to play Fire the Cannons again. But what happens when that Captain Hook ends up going to your discard pile? Well, you can play this Hades, get back your Captain Hook, and now you're able to play that Captain Hook again and get your Fire the Cannons back, and then be able to play your Fire the Cannons again. So you're basically doubling all of these resources by just playing this Hades card. And that's where it really shines, is that the cards in your discard pile are never really gone. You're still able to get them back. Now, sure, it is certain ones, but when most of your deck is probably going to be comprised of characters, Hades is going to be a very, very good card for that. But one thing to look out for with my example, if you are running an Amber Steel deck and you're thinking like, well, Hades and Captain Hook and Fire the Cannons, they don't have, you know, they're not inkable. I'm not able to place them into my inkwell. And that's something you have to look out for. And you might not want to, right? You're like, why do I want to play these cards into my inkwell? But you don't want to have too many cards in your deck that cannot go into your inkwell, or else you're not going to be able to play these cards. So that's something to look out for. You can't run too many of these for fear of not being able to play them, I suppose. But, you know, with some healthy deck building and play testing and stuff, you know, you can't avoid that. But it is something to consider. That is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Overall, like, I do think this Hades is actually really, really good. You can play a bit more aggressive with your deck. You can do some more challenges. You can also, what's really nice is not be afraid to put cards into your inkwell, because as long as you have one copy of something, like a character card and Hades, you're going to have access to that card, in the sense that, we'll say, for example, if I play Stitch, the Rockstar Stitch, and it's the only one I've drawn, and he gets banished, and he goes to my discard pile, and maybe I had inked a Stitch earlier, like on my first turn or second turn, then I could play my Hades and get that Stitch back, like, because I know that I at least have access to that Stitch. It doesn't matter if he gets banished. I'm holding a Hades. I'm just going to get him right back to my hand, and now my opponent is going to have to spend more resources to get rid of that Stitch. And so it's kind of like a nice, it's like a nice peace of mind type of thing, where it's okay if a card goes to your discard pile, because I'm just going to be able to get them back. And I do like that. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a nice mentality to have. This Hades just gives you access to another part of your deck that you wouldn't normally have access to, and that's your discard pile. You're able to, you know, keep up tempo. Like, if some of your early game characters, you know, are banished, you're able to play your Hades turn 4, you know, turn 5 when you have more resources, or, you know, when all your resources free up, you're able to play all those characters that you lost. That's pretty solid. I do like that quite a bit. Overall, again, I think he's a very good card, and the fact that he can quest or challenge when he comes into play is very good. I'm going to give, you know, Hades a solid 8 out of 10. I think he should be included in basically every Amber deck. He actually might be a little better, maybe like an 8.5 out of 10. He can also shift, I should mention, he can shift upwards into the Hades King of the Underworld, which is a very, very good card. For only 2 more resources, you could play a King of Olympus, who has 6 strength and 7 willpower. While he is a very good offensive, like a good character to challenge with, you're going to have some villains in play if you want to quest for some lore. If you don't have villains in play, or you're not playing a villain type deck, then shifting into that Hades might not be the best idea. But it's still an option, and for only 2 more resources, you know, you can get this Hades into play. But I would just want to mention, you know, that is a possibility, but I just want to talk about the base Hades instead. I think the base Hades has a fantastic ability that should probably be played in every single Amber deck. So overall, we're going to say 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10. I do think he's a very, very good card that gives you access to cards you wouldn't normally have access to once they hit your discard pile. So we're going to leave it at that. And I think that's it. I think that's, you know, I think he's a good card. So hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It means a lot. You know, stay safe out there, make good decisions, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.